NIO delivered 11,866 vehicles in March of 2024 and just over 30,000 for the first 3 months of the first full quarter of 2024. This is a positive development in my mind. This is why. And I've got this piece highlighted down here. In 2023, the second quarter for NIO was the weakest quarter on deliveries. And part of that was the refresh that they were doing of those models. All their models were being refreshed beginning in the second quarter. But here we've got the word that beginning in March 2024, NIO started deliveries of its 2024 ES8, ES6, EC7, EC6, and ET5 Touring. So those have already been updated and started their deliveries. And then right down here, this last sentence, the company plans to start deliveries of the 2024 ES7, ET7, and ET5 soon in the second quarter of 2024. So the cadence is faster. Basically, the upgrades, the refreshes are happening faster in this year of 2024 compared to last year of 2023. So hopefully, I think it's very realistic that the first quarter of this year will be the low quarter on the numbers side. And at just over 30,000, that compares favorably with last year's second quarter numbers of just over 25,000. But we've still got to wait and see how this all develops. Also, this is just the main brand, the premium brand for NIO, because the sub brand also is going to get launched and released in this year of 2024. We'll get more from the company on that in May, which is just a month away. So we've got a lot of positives still ahead in this year of 2024. Two things I want to highlight briefly. The first is related to buyback. The idea of with the stock price for NIO being down so much heading into the long weekend, the Easter weekend, we had some folks from the NIO community talking about how they thought maybe NIO should do a share buyback. And this ended up being a very interesting topic. I did a video and said why I thought it was a really bad idea. And more on that in a second. But this is one point I didn't make. So I wanted to highlight it. This was in my mind. I'm glad that Jason and Trader Chris sort of addressed this in a Twitter feed or comment, I guess, thread. And so I liked this point by Trader Chris because concept is the key for me. Alibaba is a very profitable company in China. And as such, they did a share buyback. Now, this is important. NIO is not yet a profitable company. And so the short thesis against a company like NIO is stronger right now because they're not profitable. All right. So the idea that Alibaba, a much more mature and profitable company at this stage, they did a buyback and yet the stock continues to be beaten down. Part of this is the sentiment. Part of this is the Chinese stock negative narrative that is ongoing. So this is one of the reasons I didn't mention, but was in my mind. I thought, I'm not convinced that a share buyback would be good for NIO. The bigger issue, one of the bigger issues, again, concept is the key in my mind, was, and I'll talk about these shorts in a second because I caught some and removed them. And I'll talk about that. It wasn't just on my video either. I saw them on a couple other people's videos. So I'm going to keep monitoring this. And maybe I'll do an update later or in a future video. But back to the point of, here's one of the ways that I kind of look at this. Wes Christian, superstar attorney who shorts do not want to see in court, had talked about in a previous live stream that I highlighted, he talked about how there's an unknown number of fails to deliver, which could represent naked shorting across all global markets. And with that, let's just consider, this is kind of my visual here. Imagine you're looking at the ocean. The ocean is right there in front of you. And there's an unknown number or amount of water or fake shares out there floating around. The idea of doing a share buyback would be like taking a couple of pails of water out of that ocean. It might not even make a difference because with these fake shares that can potentially be used to mess with stock price, we don't have any like real understanding, and there's never any real time truth to what the actual numbers are because the data is all delayed. Part of this aligns very well with the market maker Citadel, who's also a suspicious short, as I have termed them in NIO. They get a pass on naked shorting as a market maker, as providing quote unquote liquidity to the market. So look, that's just in my mind. And because I think the focus for the company for NIO should remain on getting to profitability, that is the single most powerful thing that NIO can do to really damage or remove the short thesis. And so that's my mentality. But here now is kind of this is what I noticed. Now in my video heading into the weekend, I said that shorts were coming out of the woodwork and I noticed them. They were becoming a little more prevalent heading into the weekend. And so I was going to watch that video in the comment section in particular, but I also watched two other NIO content creators and their videos. And I saw some of the same people doing the same things. And one of the things that it looks like in the comment section, they're trying to push for is a NIO stock share buyback. So I wanted to mention that because once I saw, and I don't know if they're using algorithms to do this. It almost looks like they might be based on some of the things I saw because I was watching for and recognized some behavioral patterns in the comment section and the way that these folks were trying to push things a certain way, a certain direction with the narrative. But I want to be clear, even if a content creator who is a pro or a long NIO person thinks that a buyback is a good thing for NIO, that doesn't mean I think they're a short. I think they really believe in the company. We're not together on this thinking. And when I see their comment section being used, I think by shorts to push that narrative of a NIO stock buyback, that is also consistent with what I think shorts would like to see, which is division within the NIO global community. So I want to highlight that and mention it. I can go more in depth, but at this time I'm not going to, because again, I sometimes I can do more just kind of studying and sitting back and watching and observing. So I wanted to highlight all of that, mention it, and really, you know what, it all comes back to this. I've got it on my Twitter. Change and growth, learning agility, this is a process. Whatever it is you're doing, whether you're investing, whether you're trying to improve as a person, with your mentality, with your education, with your physical goals, it's all about, and kind of can be broken down to this, 3-step process: become aware, understand, take action. In the case of naked shorts, and even suggesting or discussing a share buyback from NIO, doesn't it make sense to become more aware of all the factors? Like, for example, if we've got an ocean of potential fails to liver floating out there globally, then it does not make sense to try and remove 2 scoops full of water. And really what we'd be doing is damaging, or NIO would be damaging itself if that's the case. And if they would put money towards that at a time when it really won't help. So if the focus should remain on profitability, which I think it is, that's where we should be. But for me, the become aware and understand part are ongoing. I've been studying and trying to increase my awareness of this short stuff, this naked shorting, all this kind of stuff over the last few years. And I still have a long way to go. There's a lot more to study and learn. So with that, I also have to recognize that, sometimes taking action is just sharing a little of what I'm seeing and thinking, as I'm still learning and improving, and hopefully bringing more awareness to others so that we can all have an increased sense of awareness, understand better, and then make better decisions, whatever those decisions are for us. So as an investor, as an individual, you got to do what works for you. So I wish everyone the best. And most people probably clicked off by like 2 minutes into this. I'm joking, 3 minutes. But if you watch to the end, please click a like on this. And yeah, shorts, I'm watching for you. I've got a few on the watch list. As I said in that comment, I'm still watching some who I think I've already identified as shorts, but I'll wait for them to reveal themselves more blatantly. Not just on my videos. I'm watching other people's videos too. Just lurking. I got you, shorts.